Greetings, everybody. For those who celebrate Easter, happy Easter to you. For those who celebrate it, democracy, republic. Which one would our forefathers had supported? Which one would our forefathers would have said was an actual threat to our nation? The George Floyd looting and rioting, because that was not just rioting, that was looting. When we say rioting, we actually cut short the severity what they did during the fentanyl George Floyd riots and looting, or the riots at the Capitol. Which one would the forefathers actually saw was a threat? The George Floyd looting and rioting. Matter of fact, they wouldn't called out the National Guard. They would have had the militia to knock that down. Why? Because George Floyd rioting and looting wasn't just rioting. That they probably would have just put the troops out there to stop them. But the looting. See, people forgot they were stealing stuff, setting people's shops on fire and burning down people's businesses and homes. That the militia would have shot them for. See, a lot of people like to talk like, oh, the January 6th. January 6th was not a threat. Matter of fact, that's what they did. That was the whole purpose of the revolution, so people could go express their anger. Now, would the troops stationed at the Capitol, would they probably have shot at some of the January 6th people? I was there. Those who broke into the Capitol building, they probably would have shot it. They would have shot in the air first. 1-2 shot in the air to let you know, hey, we shooting. And then people would have backed down. However, the whole summer of 2020 was a threat. Everybody's saying, when President Trump said, are you better off than what you were 4 years ago? Yes, things 4 years ago during COVID is still better under Joe Biden. We still have more money. We still have things better under COVID Trump than Joe Biden today. We won in wars under President Trump. So when somebody asks you that, say, were things better off 4 years ago? Because that's what liberals been trying to say, bringing up COVID. Yes, we still was better. And you Democrats also signed bills to say shut things down. You Democrats was the ones who was, oh, we need to shut it down. We don't know what we were doing. So before you blame President Trump, Democrats are mainly responsible. They did nothing when the country was burning from a fentanyl crackhead career criminal, George Floyd. Matter of fact, they started propping him up and started doing legislation to benefit criminals like Officer Dillard, who was murdered in New York. The criminal that murdered him would have never been released if people hadn't embraced George Floyd. Let me say this again. Officer Dillard, who was murdered by a career criminal, that criminal would have never been on the streets and embraced if people hadn't embraced George Floyd. Yeah, because whether or not, like Roland Martin tried to say, I'm talking about reallocating. Reallocating and defunding are the same thing. When you're trying to take away from officers getting protection, their protection vests, firearms, and they need more, yeah, you're a threat. George Floyd was not a good for America. And I'm not talking about because he died from a fentanyl and he tried to blame it on the officer. Because he wasn't murdered by the officer. He died of fentanyl overdose. That's one thing about that lawsuit people aren't talking about, where the woman who's suing the Minnesota Attorney General and the Minnesota prosecutors and bringing up that they purposefully hid the autopsy report. See, you don't know about that one. But a lot of people do. But when it comes to George Floyd, America has suffered because we keep trying to reach out and bend over backwards to make Black America feel good. Yeah, I said it, and I'm Black. America need to stop trying to make the abnormal things Black community do and make them normal. Stop it. Criminals at one time in the Black community were shunned. It's this new generation that wants to welcome them because they believe they fighting for the Black man, fighting for freedom. You ain't fighting for no freedom. Because I always remember it was civil rights activists, people who actually marched, got sprayed with hoses, bitten by dogs, who asked for the 1994 crime bill. They went to Bill Clinton and begged Bill Clinton, hey, give us some because these little young Negroes are killing each other and killing us. That's right. Stop, pause. The people who marched on Selma, Bloody Sunday, old Jim Crow sitting at the counter, asked for the 1994 crime bill because they was tired of what young Black men was doing in the community. And Joe Biden answered it. Well, look like Joe Biden is learning his lesson. He's sending weapons and bombs to Israel. I think it's a little too late. I think Israel now is waking up and telling Joe Biden, let's go Brandon. And I ain't talking about how they trying to flip it. Let's go Brandon, Joe Biden. FJB, that's what they saying. That's what Israelis are starting to say, FJB. And that ain't a good thing. Because what the Israelis are seeing, what a lot of countries have known about America, we change every 4 years. And is that really an ally you can depend on? Call it like I said.